and welcome back to Do It For Yourself. So today, I'm going to show you how to reseason a carbon steel pan if you have one in your home. Now, what would be the reason why you might want to reseason a pan? Well, in my case, I had this Matford carbon steel pan that I ended up leaving a bunch of tomato sauce in it, and so the acidity in the tomato sauce ended up taking the season off the pan that was already there. So just for the sake of demonstration today, I don't technically need to reseason this pan, but in order to show my audience on how to do this, this is why I'm doing it today. Now, I have a video that I'll put in the link where I went out and I purchased two different types of pans. One was already a pre-seasoned pan by Merton and Stock, and I had this carbon steel pan here by Matford. And I have to tell you, I knew nothing about carbon steel pans at one time, like absolutely nothing. And for years, I've been going out and buying all these different types of nonstick pans for as long as I can remember. I've probably threw away more pans than I can count in two hands. So when I discovered the carbon steel pan, I was so excited because there was so much that I learned about it and how much more healthier it was for you to use, but also how reliable it is. I also found out that a lot of like professional chefs use carbon steel in their kitchens for numerous reasons. Now I have to tell you, this pan, when I first got it, came to me raw, which means that none of the seasoning was there. And so I had to season it myself. And so it was basically just silver. You only need a few things to make this happen. Now, I know there are tons of videos on YouTube that show you how to pre-season and reseason or even season a new pan. But today, I'm just going to show you how to reseason an existing pan. And again, it happened to me in the past where I've left tomato sauce in the pan and I came back and it was raw. And well, it kind of did some of the work for me, which was cool. But anyway, I digress. So what you will need for this job. First, I'm going to use Barkeeper's Friend to take off all of the seasoning, okay? Existing seasoning. Then I'm going to use this little scrub brush thing here that I'll put in the link that I'm also going to use to help me take it off with. After I'm done with that, I'm going to put my oven, well, after I'm done with taking all the existing seasoning off, I'm going to wash it well with soap and water, and then I'm going to set my oven at 200 degrees. And then I'm going to warm up the carbon steel pan, okay? And after I warm it up at 200 degrees for several minutes to where the pan is warm, I'm going to apply this thing called Buzzy Wax. And you can get this off of Amazon's website, and I'll put a link at the bottom for this as well. And the goal here is to get at least 3 very light coatings on this carbon steel pan, okay? The reason for that is because you want to build up an excellent coating from the very start so you can start using your pan and use it both on a non-stick as well as a regular pan for whatever you want. I love to use this pan for searing. But I also use it for eggs, and the eggs don't stick, simply because I've seasoned it well. Okay, so after you've warmed it up some, you want to set the oven at 500 degrees, and then put the pan in for an hour at 500 degrees at least 3 times. I like to do it 4 times, okay, to get that extra layer of Buzzy Wax on there. Okay, the other thing you will need is some gloves. I mean, you don't absolutely need it, but it's probably good to have it. These paper towels that I have here, you just need one because you're going to use the one to dip into the Buzzy Wax and just put a thin coat on your pan. But then also a couple of extra in case you put too much on and you can wipe off the excess. I've got one of these barbecue gloves here that I keep as well in case this gets so hot that I can go ahead and put this on instead. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to bring the camera over and I'm going to show you how to begin this whole process. We'll be right back. Okay, so here's the pan. We're going to go ahead and put a little water on this. You want to get it ready. All right. And then we're going to go ahead and apply this barkeeper's friend that I have here. And we're going to be very liberal with it. Don't be shy. And then we're going to put some elbow grease into it. No messing around, just get it off. All right, this is the way it looked before, just so you can get an idea. And I want you to see how well this barkeeper's cleaner works. You see that? It's bringing it's getting down to the raw metal, and this is all the seasoning that was there. Okay. And you just keep going at it until you get all of the seasoning off. You don't have to do the outside of the pan, guys, unless you absolutely want to, but it's not necessary. You just want to get a good coating of that season on the inside of the pan. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to rinse this off so you can see it real quick, and we're making progress. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the video short, finish off the project, and then come back and show you how to put your first coating of that Buzzy Wax seasoning. Okay, so as you can see, the pan has been cleaned all the way down to bare metal. And earlier I said if you put this in the oven at 200 degrees, it'll warm up the pan. But I'm going to go ahead and put it on the top stove here so that we make certain all of that water, even if you dry it with a towel, is completely evaporated, because you don't want any excess water whatsoever, not even in the pores of the pan, to conflict with the Buzzy Wax that we're going to put on it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and let that do its job. The other thing is, please make sure that when you're done taking off the existing seasoning, that you give it a good wash with regular soap and water, okay? And scrub it with a green pad or something like that. And do it a couple of times, because you'll see a lot of the residue that's on there if you don't. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and let that do its thing, and then we're going to get to the seasoning part. Okay, so as you can see, the pan has, we took all the seasoning off. We cleaned it with dish soap and water really well, and then we dried it with a kind of a paper towel, which is why I have extra. And then I put it on the stove just for extra insurance, as an insurance policy, to make sure that the water is completely off the pan. Now, since the pan is warm from being on top of the stove, there's no need to put it in the oven at 200 degrees. In fact, I wouldn't even do that from the beginning. I would just clean the pan, and then when it's time to put it on the stove to evaporate most of that water, and once you dry it off, just take the pan off and start seasoning it. However, set your stove at 500 so that you can go ahead and apply the wax. Okay, so basically all you need to do is, in fact, I'm going to get a glove on my right hand here. Okay, let's take a dish towel like this, dip it into the Buzzy Wax, and I have to tell you, you don't need that much, okay? And your first layer should be very light, so you just kind of want to see. So the stove's at 475. I'm okay with that. It'll keep crawling up. we're going to just apply a nice light coating on it. A light coating goes a long way. You just don't want to see it looking like it's been caked on is all. Otherwise it won't, the Buzzy Wax won't really cure to the pan well. It'll look like you have all these cake spots on it. All right, so that's the first coating, guys. Whoops. Can you see that? I think you can. All right, I don't have a lot of lighting in here, but hopefully you kind of get the gist of it. You can see a very light coating on the whole pan. So now I'm going to take this, put it in the oven, and once again at 500 degrees, let it sit for an hour, and then reapply. Do it at least 3 times, a minimum of 3 times, but I would prefer 4 times. Okay. Okay, guys, so I took the pan out of the oven and I just applied a second coat of this Buzzy Wax that I was talking about earlier. But just for the sake of demonstration, we're going to go ahead and just go over it again. You see that nice color that it has now compared to what it was before we applied the coating. It went from raw to almost like a bronze color. And so after I lay this thin coat down, I'm going to put it in for another hour, take it back out, do the same thing for another hour. So you're looking at around 4 hours of time here to get the perfect layered seasoned pan. Hey guys, welcome back. So here is the end result. Isn't it beautiful? So once again, the process. Right now, if you found any value in this video, I would ask that you subscribe and just give me a like, guys. Just hit that thumb. Just hit that thumb just once. It only takes less than a second and it would help me tremendously. Okay, so what I like about this pan is, well, for one thing, it has the quality of a cast iron pan. However, it's a lot lighter. Plus, it has the same, in my opinion, heat distribution as any cast iron pan might. It's also much healthier than most of the specially coated, or even if they still sell Teflon type pans that are out there. I have bought 1 million pans in the past, guys, and I'm going to be very honest. I've always had to replace a pan that I've used in the past, always, until I got a carbon steel. If any of you are using carbon steel pans, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know that this is no fluff, this is no jive. This is the real deal. When I see these commercials and these videos of Ramsey, promoting these pans, he's making a lot of money to promote these pans. I don't think that they have half the value and the quality and the ease of use as a simple carbon steel pan might have. And this is why you guys need to do your due diligence and really research it, because don't take my word for it. I'm just a YouTube guy trying to share my experiences with products and how-tos on doing certain things. But at the end of the day, you have to make a decision. What's better for you? And using this particular carbon steel pan, it has worked wonders for me. I've seared steaks. I've been able to cook eggs on it that didn't stick. You still have to learn your temperature. You still have to know, like you can sear steaks on it at high temperatures, but for eggs, you still have to understand how this pan works. There's going to be a little bit of a learning curve. But once you learn that curve, you'll go, my God, why didn't I have this pan like years and years ago? So that's the benefit. Again, the heat distribution on these pans are excellent. Plus, it's lighter, and also the weld on this particular pan, this Matfer, is not. They did it. They spot welded it from the back, and you don't have any rivets on the inside. So that means if you're cooking eggs, nothing's really going to get caught in the rivets. Where I've seen, in the past, and I've had pans in the past that food would get caught into. Not that that's a huge deal breaker, but it's annoying, right? Just read the reviews on it, guys. Don't take my word for it, and do your research. You'll find that carbon steel, what chefs all over the world use, including Dave Ramsey himself, I'm pretty sure. Anybody who knows anything about cooking will come across a carbon steel pan and will swear by it. Even if you don't get the pan from my link and you just get one, just get one. Just try it. Let's see. What else can I say about this pan? It's like a work of art. I mean, when you look at it, and the more you cook on it, the better it gets, which means that the ease of use, the better it will cook. It will become even that much more non-stick. It's just an awesome pan. It's like literally, it's like bringing it up from birth and making it work for you when you start raw. Now they do have some pre-seasoned pans that I recommended, like by Merton and Stock, that I'll put a link in the description if you decide you want to go with that pan. But those thinner pans that have been pre-seasoned, they're okay. I feel that those pans aren't nearly as good as getting a solid pan like this. This is thicker metal. This is all, this won't warp on you, and that's just my opinion. But at the end of the day, you have to go with what works best for you. But if anything, just for health reasons alone, getting a pan like this will really be beneficial to you. Anyway, all for now. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.